Hi, this is Editor Troxel. In today's tutorial, we actually had a request to match the project settings with an event that was already on the timeline, and this could be helpful if you already have a bunch of events on the timeline and then decide you want a property to match a certain specific event that is already on the timeline. And so I started thinking about it, and we're going to look at a couple of different ways to do this. One I call kind of the brute force method. The other is kind of more of an elegant method. And so the brute force method, we're going to go through and do things piece by piece. So let's see how that works. Here's the timeline, and we can see that the properties of this event on the timeline, this is a 4K event, so we have 3840 by 2160, 16 by 9, 2997. And so what we want to do is our current property settings is currently set to HD, which is 1920 by 1080. And so we want to change all of this to match that event on the timeline. Now, as I said, this is the brute force method, which will change everything manually. And the reason for doing that might be you only have specific pieces that you want to modify. But we're going to go for each track, and then is that track a video track? If it is, we're going to go through each video event in that track. Then if that event is selected, we're assuming there's only going to be one selected event, then the first thing I did was get the media, which I called my media, from the video event.activeTake.media. Then we need to get the video stream, which I called VS, which I got from mymedia.getVideoStreamByIndex, and we got the first video stream. It is possible for files to have multiple video streams, and so if you needed to check which video stream was actually being used, that could make a difference. But most videos only have one video stream. And then we're going to change myvegas.project.video, and we're going to change several different pieces. For example, we're going to change the width, which we get from vs.width. We're going to change the height, which we get from vs.height. The field order, which we get from vs.fieldOrder. The frame rate from vs.framerate. And the pixel aspect ratio, which we get from vs.pixel aspect ratio. So all of those will be changed individually and manually. And so if we run this script, now let's look at the properties, and we will see that this is now a 3840 by 2160. The field order is set to none. This is still a 2997. So all of these have been changed to match that event on the timeline. As I said, that's kind of what I call the brute force method. You've gone through and changed each of the pieces individually. Now let's look at a way that's a little more elegant. Believe it or not, it only takes one line of code. So let's take a look at this. Once again, we're going to go through every track. We're going to check to see if that's a video track. We're going to go through every event and get it as a video event. Then if the video event is selected, then what we're going to do is go to myvegas.project.matchProject settings with media, and then we're going to pass it that event.activeTake.media. And so this one line will change all of the settings so that it will match, the project will match that event. I've reset this back to it's a 1920 by 1080 project now. We still have the 4K event selected. And now when we look at our project settings, we will see that this has been changed to 4K, and all of the other settings still match that event. So there's a couple of easy ways that you can make the project match an event on the timeline. If you do want everything to match, it's very convenient to just use the built-in match the project with settings. And if you want to only change certain pieces, for example, suppose you didn't want to change the pixel aspect ratio or the frame rate or anything like that, you only wanted to change the width and the height, then you could use what I called the brute force method and just change the few pieces that you really wanted to change. So I hope you find this tutorial useful. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next tutorial. Please sign up at www.jettv.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.